Okay, so I'm looking to build out a pretty simple software that just basically plugs in a few data points from an Excel spreadsheet that looks like this into the CTM contracts online um, contract management system. So I'm just going to go step by step on how I put together these contracts and where the data points come from on the Excel spreadsheet so that you, the software engineer, has a pretty clear understanding of what I'm looking to do. So once you log into the CTM contract software, the first thing you do is you create a new contract. So the software I'd be looking for the software to do exactly what I'm doing. So then it would click on contract to buy and sell, create contracts. Once that contract's created, the next thing you do is you click on create copying from existing contract. The software would have to scroll down to what's called template, or if there's some other way of saving it in the software, but this template is recreated each day so that the proper dates fill in, and I'm going to explain that here in a second. So you go ahead and click on that, you hit save. So from there, it takes a minute for CTM contracts to copy that template over. Now, the reason I create a new template every day because I want this date to be on the date that I'm sending the day that I'm creating the contract. It needs to be the same here. And then down here, these dates right here are created in that daily template. So somehow we'd have to figure out a way for the software to point to the most recent day's template. That's the only thing that I would think might be a little bit of a um, kind of a challenge, but we'll see. So once the template is copied and saved, then the next step is to select the address. So you click on this here and you enter in basically, I'm going to try to put this over here. I've already did this first one, so I'm going to go to the second one. So it's going to pull this 9764, and if I need separate columns for the address number, the street name, the city, that's not a problem. I can create the Excel spreadsheet to do that. But as far as the software goes, it would need to plug in that 97. Whoops, where'd it go? So that 9764 here. Need to plug in the address or the street name, Columbine. So I'm going to pull this back over here so I can read this better. So Columbine, and then the next thing it needs to know is it needs to pull over the city information right here, which is Thornton, and then search. From there, the CTM software is going to find that listing agent's information. The software will need to click on that. It will need to select all. So it's always doing this. So it's not going to be ever this or that or whatever. It's always doing this, with the exception that if it can't find that, then it would just error that one out and um, and just notify me that it wasn't able to create a contract, and it just moves on to the next one. And then it clicks save. You have to hit save every time in order for this contract to be updated, because if you don't save whenever you enter in new information, sometimes it loses it. So software have to enter in that information, save, and then the last thing or the next thing you have to do is put in the purchase price, which that's off the Excel spreadsheet. So the purchase price is this 383. I'm sorry, it was 283. The next thing I need to pull over is the earnest money. So that's $3,500. Click save. And then the last thing is I need to go to the top here, click on that button that I just clicked on right here, this preview signature view, which creates this. Then the software would need to go down. It's going to be in a new page. As you see, it opened up a new tab. You need to select signature font, you hit save, accept. Then from there, this contract can be closed out here, it can be closed out here, and then we'd be looking at emailing these contracts. So then the software need to click on email contracts, need to select the contract, select the listing agent, input whatever verbiage I want to use for the day. I'm sure I can enter in something into the software that says something along these lines. The only thing I'd want is this to be personalized to the listing agent, which is Shauna. That can also be pulled off of my spreadsheet. Shauna's right here. So either way, it can come from there, or it can read the listing agent down here. Probably be easier off Excel. And then you just click email, and it's done. So I'm going to step through one more of these just so it's a little more fluid with how this is done. So I'm going to do one last one. So I want to create new contract. Select that contract, which is always that residential. Create that contract. Copy from an existing contract, which will always be the daily template right here, which was created today. Click save. Now it needs to scroll down to here to enter in the listing information. So again, it's pulling over the data points from this Excel spreadsheet, which is going to be pulling over 572 Florence. So 572 Florence. It's only needs to pull over the street name and then the city, which is Aurora. It's going to search. Now, 9 out of 10 times, this information is going to be in CTM software. So all the software needs to do is click on that, select all, and import. Save. And then all that listing information is imported over. 1 out of 10 times that data is not going to be in CTM contracts. And I think the simplest way is to simply, if the software can't pull over any data, that it just basically um, errors that contract, notifies me that that one wasn't sent, and then just moves on to the next property in the spreadsheet, right? So that's I think that's the easiest way to do it, because it's not very often it's going to run into that, and I don't want the software have to figure out this and that and the other thing. I'll just take care of that. So the last thing is you put in the purchase price. So again, another data point off the Excel spreadsheet, 252.2. It's going to have to pull over earnest money, which again, spreadsheet 3,000. Click save. Then it needs to scroll to the top, print preview, signature view. This is how you sign the contract. It opens up a new tab right here. So the software will have to figure out that a new tab was opened up. Scroll to the bottom, select signature font, save, accept. And then it can close these two windows out. I like to click on e-contracts, you don't have to. Then it's email contracts. You need to click here, put in the verbiage with a personalized message. So we're going to go J, which again, the information is right here, J, or it is also on the spreadsheet, J. Okay. Once that's done, click email, and that's it. That's all I'm looking for the software to do. So there's a couple of challenges in there. It's got to figure out the daily template. So maybe I can point the software to that daily template just manually for the day, which is totally fine. But it will need to, each day the template will be new. And then it also, I imagine the software, I'll need to point the Excel database that we're using for the day to the software as well. And then from there, I want to click run and let this thing just run, log into my software, and create those contracts. So if I'm doing 500 properties, it can just log in and start creating those contracts and sending those automatically for me. So hopefully that explains what I'm looking for, and we'll go from there.